श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। ॐ नारायणः परो व्यक्तात् अण्डमव्ययसम्भवम् अण्डस्यान्तस्त्विमे लोकाः सप्तद्वीपा च मेदिनी। Then we have finished the 16th verse. So from now we will chant from, it's easier to see here, one second. We will together chant the following verses here. We will chant from 17 to 22. Okay? अविनाशितु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततं विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति। अन्तवन्त इमे देहाः नित्यस्योक्ता शरीरिणः अनाशिनो प्रमेयस्य तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत। य एनं वेत्ति हन्तारं यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ न विजानीतः नायं हन्ति न हन्यते. Tune change alert. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः आजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे वेदाविनाशिनं नित्यं येनमजमव्ययं कथं स पुरुषः पार्थ कङ्घातयति हन्तिकं वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि. So yesterday we saw all the arguments about this one, the 16th verse. We saw how the cognition of isness, if we can call it that, is a different cognition than the cognition of name and form. The cognition of an object, therefore, is dependent upon two kinds of orientations or two kinds of cognitions. One is the cognition of the existence of the object, and then the next is the cognition of the name and the form in which the object appears. The existence of the object and the name and the form of the object have to be distinguished separately because the existence does not belong to the object. This is the second thing we have to know. Existence is not a property of the object. Existence is not a qualification of the object. In fact, the object qualifies existence. This is number 3. Like golden ornament, this is wrong. Ornamenty gold, we have to say. Yeah. So it's not it's ornament in the form of gold. So gold is the substantive, ornament is the qualifier, adjective. So then we also saw that the is a cognition. Adi Shankara has a special name for it. It is called Sad-buddhi, and the cognition of name and form is called Asad-buddhi. Now, then the next thing to know, if this much is clear, the next thing to know is that Sad-buddhi is forever, Asad-buddhi comes and goes, because the Asad-buddhi is that cognition through which the objects are cognized, and objects being nothing other than name and form with borrowed existence. So therefore, that if you discount the existence, the object is as good as not there. That's why it is called Asat Buddhi, because what we are doing is trying to find out the reality of the object without existence. Without Sat Buddhi, without the presence of Sat, objects cannot exist independently. Since objects cannot exist independently of Sat, then what is the problem here? Then Sat and Asat as though get conflated, and one thinks that the Sat, the existence belongs to the object. And this is the cause, it was very clearly mentioned, of Shoka, Moha, Bhaya, etc. In other words, Samsara. Samsara is this mix-up of Satyam, and then what is the other one? Mithya. Mithya is name and form. Mithya is dependent reality. Mithya is that which has to be, which is non-separate from Sat, which borrows its existence from Sat, Wherever there is mithya, Sat cannot be far away, but you cannot say it the other way around. Wherever there is Sat, mithya is not far away. Can you say that? No. And so all the objections center around this, like, oh, so then if pot is destroyed, then the existence of the pot is also not there, so Sad Buddhi is also destroyed. No. Sad Buddhi is very much alive, because you can see the Sad Buddhi in the cloth, in the computer, in the mic, in the door, in the window. When I say door is, so the is Buddhi is not destroyed just because the pot is destroyed. Another related objection centered around, okay, one pot Buddhi number 1, pot Buddhi number 2, pot Buddhi number 3, and so on and so forth. So then, if so that means what? Sad Buddhi is not destroyed. Sad Buddhi is available. If pot number 1 is destroyed, where is the Sad Buddhi available? In pot number 2 and in pot number 3. That means what? Pot is Sat. This was also refuted. Pot is not Sat, because the pot Buddhi is available where? Only in the pot, not in the cloth. In the cloth we have cloth Buddhi, in the pot we have pot Buddhi. So pot, cloth, etc., each thing, it is not these are not owners of that isness. The isness blesses the name and form, because of which a thing becomes an object. And so like this we saw the arguments. The second line is a little bit left. Ubhayopi drishtontah. So the one who sees the truth of both here, both what? Sat and Asat, Mithya and Sat. Anayoho, Ubhayoho, out of these two, when they see what is Mithya, what is Sat, then this is who is called Tattvadarshi. Tat Sarvanama, Adi Shankara says, Tat Sarvanama, Tat is what? A pronoun. Tat is a pronoun, and what is the Tat means what? That. And so that is, what do you mean by that? Then that means Brahman, which I do not know directly as an object. That's why I keep saying that. So Prasiddham idam. Prasiddham means it is well known in the universe. Yeah, well known in the universe, that something which is far away from me, what does one say? That. One refers to everything as something that is far away from oneself as that. Tat iti sarvanama. And he has a wonderful take on sarvanama. Sarvanama means, this is a pun. He says sarvam cha brahma. What is Brahman? Sarvam. So sarvanama means a general name, like a pronoun. But here, this is not like a pronoun. Why? Because everything is Brahman. So therefore, the nama of everything is Brahman. So Brahman is known by the sarvanama of what? Sat. Tat. And so, and then this tat bhavaha tattvam. Tat bhavaha tattvam. So Tattva is Tadbhavaha, means when you make tat into an abstract noun, thatness is Brahman. So Tattvam eva Brahma, Tattvam Brahma, and then the one who is able to see this as oneself, Yathatmyam means the truth of oneself. The one who is able to see Brahmano Tattvam, Brahmanaha Tattvam. The one who is able to see the truth of Brahman as oneself, the one who has that capacity. Ini pratyaya tachilye. That word shilam has to come. That's why it is, he does it like that. So, drashtum shilam yasya asti, or yeshamte. Whoever has, those people, because it is plural here, he says yeshamte. So, whoever has that capacity to see the truth of oneself as Brahman is called Tattvadarshi, the seers of Brahman as oneself. Then he says, now you also are trying to attain this vision of the seers, Arjuna, And why? Because you want to see this truth. That's why you are taking refuge in this knowledge, so that you can get rid of all this shoka, moha, etc. And then therefore you also must apply yourself to the truth which was seen by the Tattvadarshi. That is the idea. Okay, so then so what does he say here? Tvamapi tattvadarshina drishtim ashritya shokam moham chahitva shitoshnadini niyata aniyata rupani dvandvani vikarah ayam asan eva marichi jalavat mithya avabhasate iti manasi nichitya titikshasva. Titikshasva was from the previous one. So you also follow the footsteps of who? Tattvadarshis. All these people of yore who have seen this Atma as themselves, who have seen means understood this Atma as themselves, you also follow their footsteps, Arjuna, by casting aside shoka and moha, and by being able to observe all the changes. How? By even seeing the first, when you see the sand in the desert, what do you see? You say, oh, water, 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 I'm going to jump in. After clearing the eyes, rubbing the eyes and seeing it again from a different angle, then what do you see? Okay, this is just a Marichi Udaka, Marichudaka, imaginary water, mirage. Marichi means mirage. I think the word mirage must have come from Marichi only. Similar etymology must be there. So, Marichudaka, this is Marichudaka means what? This is just a, what is that called? Mirage. It is not real water. What is it? Mirage water. This is how it is available. That knowledge comes. So similarly, you change your perspective following the Tattvadarshis and see Shoka, Moha and Shita, Ushna, all these things as just what? One more mirage. One more mirage, you see it and come out of it. This Adi Shankara says this is the implied meaning of this verse. Now, introducing the next verse, Adi Shankara says, Kim punaha tadyat sat eva sarvada eva asti iti uchyate. Then, okay, if everything is Marichi, Marichi, everything is Marichi, correct? Yeah, so everything is mirage, everything is false. Mithya. Will the Satyam please stand up, because I can't tell. Everything is mithya. Where is the Satyam? This we have to be instructed in. Where is the Satyam? So therefore it is said, Avinashi tu tad vidhi. Tat avinashi vidhi. That Brahman alone must be seen as avinashin. Vinashaha asya asti iti vinashin. Vinashaha asya na vidyate iti avinashi. That which does not have any, that which is not subject to destruction is called avinashi. From nash, to destroy. Nash then becomes nashaha, destruction. There is one more pratyaya there, and then to that you add in, nashin. Then you negate the whole thing by putting a. You add a and v. Vinashin, avinashin. And so, avinashin, again, that same ini pratyaya which we saw earlier. So, avinashi tu tad vidhi. Please know this Atma, this Brahman to be avinashi. Why? Yena Atmana Brahmana Sarvam Jagatidam Tatam. By which Brahman, by which Atma, this entire being, this Jagat, the being of this Jagat is pervaded. The entire Jagat is pervaded by which Brahman? Know that to be Sat, and everything else which is name and form to be mithya, asat. So, avinashi tu tad vidhi yena sarvam idam tatam. Keep this phrase sarvam idam tatam in mind, because throughout the Bhagavad Gita, 2-3 places it is used, this expression. From tan to spread, sixth conjugation. So and then tatam, past passive participle. Tatam, by spread you can't say, you don't say Brahman has spread itself, you say it a little more elegantly and say pervaded, by which the whole Jagat is pervaded. There is not a single inch or a nano inch of a space, a millimeter, nanometer of space where Brahman is not. There is no time where Brahman was not. In fact, time is Brahman, space is Brahman, everything in between is Brahman. Therefore, Jagat is Brahman. Like all ornaments, the whole Jagat of pot Jagat, ornament Jagat, is the world of earthenware, is nothing but clay. The world of ornaments, like in a jewelry shop, is nothing but gold. Similarly, the entire Jagat is nothing but Brahman. And this is what has to be known. And so, the whole, like if you see the jewelry shop, you get dazzled. First of all, they have huge things, big shop, big cases everywhere, all kinds of things. In one case full of chains, another case bangles, another case earrings, all kinds of things are there. But all is what? Gold. Pujya Swamiji gave a teaching to a jeweler. Jeweler was his Shishya. And then he invited Pujya Swamiji to inaugurate his jewelry shop. Please, Swamiji, please come. Swamiji said, I don't know how to inaugurate jewelry shop. No, come, cut the ribbon, etc., please come. Okay. Cut the ribbon, everybody clapped. Fantastic shop. Swamiji said, this is wonderful, may you have great success, was about to leave. And the Shishya said, Swamiji, please oblige me, you have come here for the first time and probably the only time. Please take one thing. Please take just one thing. Anything, Swamiji, take one thing. Careful, Swamiji said. You are talking to a Vedantin. No, Swamiji, I am serious. He fell at his feet. Take one thing. Okay, I'll take the gold. You keep the ornaments. Had Swamiji followed through on his words, it would have been the shortest inauguration in history. Yeah. As soon as it was opened, shut down. Just now opened and then what? Bankrupt immediately. So this way, one thing means what? This one thing alone. That because of which the ornaments are is gold. You can't imagine a chain made of gold without the substance gold. You can't imagine. You can't imagine a clay pot without clay. In fact, we shouldn't even be calling it clay pot. Pot which is in the form of clay. That is what it is. The other way around. Clay which is in the form of pot. And so, this way, avinashi tu tad vidhi. You please know that Brahman as not subject to destruction. And what is that Brahman which is not subject to destruction? That which pervades the entire universe. Vinasham avyayasya asya avyayasya vinasham na kaschit kartum arhasi. Arhati. Nobody is capable. Arhati, capable. No one, kaschit, no one, kartum, to do, capable of. So, nobody is capable of vinasha, bringing about the destruction of what? Avyayasya asya. This indestructible one, no one can destroy. Nobody can destroy. And he is going to say later in the Bhashya, not even Bhagavan. Why? It is Bhagavan. Bhagavan cannot destroy himself, herself. It is Bhagavan, it's non-separate from Bhagavan. So how can one destroy that? So, a little note here before we look at the Bhashya. When we talk of destruction, then we normally say there are three sources of destruction. What are they? Something else can come and destroy. Something other than that thing can come and destroy. And then what else? It can implode and self-destruct. Something like it can come and destroy. Correct? So, sajatiya vinasha, something like something, like thing, like one person destroys another person in war. Sajatiya vinasha. Of course, we are only talking of bodies, but doesn't matter. One body, some body destroys another body, so then that is called sajatiya vinasha. Like destroys like. Then we can also have vijatiya vinasha. Like a sudden, what is that called? Asteroid or some comet coming and destroying a planet. Something other than that. Or we can have swagata vinasha. Swagata vinasha means it self-destructs. Like you keep a banana on your table in the room. Okay? First day you don't eat it. Second day you don't eat it. Third day you don't eat it. Fourth day what happens to the banana? It loses the bar. That's all. Yeah. Can't handle this. Don't want this. So then while we can argue, okay, the air and everything, the moisture and all, but there is a certain thing, the air and moisture, even your body is subject to the same air and moisture. But you have not become like the banana. Correct? So that means there is a self-destructing thing in the banana that has been activated by the air and the moisture, etc. And for the banana to become nana takes 3-4 days and it is gone. Swagata vinasha. Now, if this much is understood, let us look at the Atma. Brahman. First we will say, like destroys like. What is there another Brahman to destroy this Brahman? No. There is a simply isn't. How many Brahmans are there since we last checked? One, non-dually one. So there is no other Brahman. Correct? Then, what is the other possibility? Vijatiya. Something other than Brahman. Let us bring in Abbrahman. Where are you going to find Abbrahman? Not there. Okay, let's bring in Atma. Okay, Atma can be destroyed by Anatma. Let's bring in Anatma. Can Anatma destroy Atma? No. Why? Anatma is what? Dependent. Anatma is dependent on Atma. Number one, Anatma is Mithya. Atma is Satyam. Just like the shadow, your own shadow cannot destroy you. Why? Because you have cast it. Your shadow is dependent on you. So therefore, something other than Brahman cannot destroy Brahman. And then let us sort of take the last possibility. What is the last possibility? So, Swagata, self-destruction. Swagata nasha, Swagata vinasha. How are we going to refute this? Right now Brahman is here. But then it could go. One day it could go. It could just go. Why won't it go? Because it has already been, the Shruti has already said that it is that which is not subject to destruction is Brahman. That Sat ever remains. It's already said. This is not, we cannot refute this point by any other worldly logic or any other reasons, because the Shruti tells us. The Shruti is what tells that this is indestructible, and so therefore we have to go by that, because this is what the Shruti reveals. Otherwise we don't know. The Shruti reveals Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. This Brahman is Satyam. Satyam means that na vyabhicharati iti Satyam, that which does not undergo any destruction or change, and it is not a dead Satyam, it is alive, sentient Jnanam, and is alive in the form of me. That Jnanam is what makes it a Mahavakya. Anantam means it is forever. It has no source of destruction is possible, because everything that could destroy it is what? Is imagined by that Brahman only. It's a imaginary reality. This Mithya cannot destroy Satyam. And so now, if this much is understood, Avinashi tu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinasham avyayasyasya na kaschit kartum arhati. Avinashi, he explains. See, the words of the Shastra are in small print and his own words are in big print. Na vinashtum sheelam asya asti iti. So that which does not have the capacity to of being destroyed is called avinashin. Tu shabdaha asataha visheshanarthaha. Tu means whereas. Tu, he says very helpfully for us, should be understood as whereas. Whereas means what? Where is the whereas? Whereas this Brahman is Avinashi. The Tat we are talking is Avinashi, unlike what? Mithya. Unlike Asat. Asat is what? Vinashi. Whereas Tu, see one word, one little syllable, the whole thing is conveyed. Tu, whereas this is what? Avinashi, indestructible. What is this? Brahman. Tu iti, tu is talking about Asat, to distinguish it from Asat. Tad vidhi, vidhi means vijanihi, same thing. Please know this. Kim, why, what should I know? Yena sarvam idam jagat tatam vyaptam, by which this entire jagat is pervaded. Vyaptam, tatam, same thing. How is it pervaded? Sadakhyena brahmana sakasham. So, Sadakhyena brahmana, by this Brahman which is known as Sat, where? In the previous verse and in all other Shrutis, like Taittiriya Upanishad, etc., etc., Chandogya Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, all of them talk about what? Sat. And so, know this Sat, it to be indestructible, number one. Know this Sat to be pervading the whole world of destructible, perishable things in the Jagat. The whole Jagat is perishable, but then this, the imperishable Sat, pervades the perishable, making us confused. We run after the perishable thinking it is imperishable. That is the cause of Shoka and Moha. See, the Adi Shankara never loses sight of Shoka and Moha. He will keep bringing it back here. So, what is there to know? Kim vijanihi. Kim, what should I understand? Yena sarvam idam jagat vyaptam sadakhyena brahmana sakasham akashena iva ghatadayah. Just like a pot is pervaded by space. So this pot is pervaded by what? Space. Similarly, Brahman is which is called Sat, pervades the whole universe of names and forms. The names and forms are inert. Inert means what? They are two things. One is they are not self-standing, self-declaratory, and second is they are needing a conscious being to be cognized. They cannot cognize themselves. So therefore, the whole world, and number three, they are just words along with meanings. That's all they are. They are an infinite number of words and meanings which constitute this Jagat. Anything you see, it's a word and a meaning. Suppose the scientists discover something new. Oh, there is no word. They will quickly name it after the scientist, some fossil or something, and give it a name immediately. Now it has a word, then it has a meaning. Everything has a word and meaning. And that word and meaning is understood by us. That's why there is language, that's why there is communication, and that's why there are also desires. Desires are there because the whole thing is understood by us. And then this is all word meaning, word meaning, word meaning. Or we can even say name and form. Word and meaning is better because it gives us the understanding that it is all dependent upon the whole universe, rests on my tongue. I am the one naming it. Who am I? Brahman. What is Brahman? Avinashi. This is how to understand. I am naming the whole Jagat. I am naming even the body, mind, sense complex which I indwell. I am naming the entire world of names and forms. I am the one who is naming. But I, the namer, the cognizer, is free from destruction too, whereas the cognized is what? Subject to destruction. Cognized, Anatma, cognizer, Atma, Brahman. Then he says, Vinasham means destruction. So he defines destruction as a very interesting way. Adarshanam means that which disappears is called destruction, according to Adi Shankara. Very nice. Adarshanam, abhavam, non-existence. Abhavam avyayasya navyeti upachaya apachayau. Upachaya apachaya abhavat. So, abhavam, we said, abhavam is not there for this Brahman, we already saw. Non-existence is not there for Sat, and so destruction, disappearance, non-existence is not there for Avyaya. Avyaya is another name for Brahman. Navyeti, that which does not decline. Even in Sanskrit we have some Avyaya. Like what? Ha, cha, tu, vai, all these are avyayas. You don't say chaha, chau, chaha, you don't start declining those words. They are not, they are indeclinables. Here also this doesn't decline literally, it doesn't undergo any change, therefore it is called avyaya, navyeti. Why? Because it is free of upachaya, increase, apachaya, decrease. Therefore it is avyaya. So for that avyaya, na etat sadakhyam brahma svena rupena vyeti vyabhicharati niravayavatvat dehadivat. So first Adi Shankara takes up Swagata Bheda. Swagata Bheda means it's self-destroying itself. Brahman cannot destroy itself. Why? It does not have limbs. You can destroy yourself, meaning the body, you can slap yourself with this hand, slap yourself with that hand, you can beat yourself up into a pulp if you so wanted. Why? Because you have limbs. But Brahman, how many limbs does it have? No limbs. Niravayava, avayava, limbs. It's a mouthful of a word, especially when you negate it. Niravayava. So, niravayavatvat. Because it has no limbs, Swagata Bheda is denied. So dismissed, duly dismissed. Okay, Swagata Bheda is not there. Why? Niravayavatvat. And then, etat sadakhyam brahma svena rupena vyetti vyabhicharati na vyetti niravayavatvat. Like what? Dehadivat. Unlike the body, etc., it cannot undergo any destruction, unlike the body, which can destroy itself, or which can, there might be self-destruction there, and then it cannot be destroyed. So, but there is also in this Swagata Nasha, there is one more part B. What is part B? Like when something is taken out of something. Like a soldier goes into combat, war, and then comes back without the legs. Legs have been, unfortunately, let us say, detonated by the enemy's bomb. Now, the soldier is there but without legs. So, the legs belonging to the soldier are no more there. Can Brahman lose something that is itself? No. Adi Shankara says that part B of this Swagata Vinasha is also not there. Na api atmiyena atmiya abhavat yatha devadattah dhanahanya vyetti natu evam brahma vyetti. So first of all, it doesn't undergo any change because, like the body, etc., because it has no parts. Nor does it decline, na vyetti. Why? Because of losing something that was its own. What is something that was its own? Sat, Chit, Ananda. Okay, Ananda gone. Now it is only what? Sat Chit. Chit gone. Ayyo. Now it is only Sadananda. Sat gone. Now it's only Chidananda. This is not possible. First of all, Sat, Chit and Ananda are not attributes of Brahman. They are definitions of Brahman from three separate angles. So they are not attributes of Brahman. So you can have self-loss, Swagata Vinasha, by losing an attribute. Like the soldier came back without legs. Legs are an attribute of the soldier. Soldier now is in a wheelchair or on crutches, no legs. And he gives another example, Adi Shankara, Yatha Devadatta. Who is Devadatta? Our Devadatta. Whenever you want one name, you say Devadatta. Supposing you want two fellows, Devadatta, Yajnadatta. Then you want three fellows, Devadatta, Yajnadatta, Somadatta. Four fellows you never want, okay? Three fellows are enough. So now our friendly Devadatta, example friendly Devadatta, what happened? Devadatta went out to the market and was set upon by robbers. And what happened? Came home with instant Vairagya. No more money. All the money that Vairagya, this Devadatta was carrying, was relieved from his person. Devadatta comes crying from the streets. He comes crying through the streets, and what does he say? I have been robbed, I have been robbed. All my money is gone. I am gone. I am gone because my money is gone. So can Brahman lose one of those parts? The parts cannot destroy Brahman because Brahman is partless, but maybe Brahman has something belonging to it that is intrinsic to it, and maybe that can be lost. That also he says, na. So, what does he say here? Let's see. Yeah. Na api, also, na api means not also. Atmiyena atmiya abhavat. This Brahman by itself cannot undergo any kind of a diminishment, decrease, cannot undergo decrease. Yatha, this is again a viparita drishtanta, means an opposite example. Unlike, yatha should be taken as ayatha. Unlike Devadatta dhanahanya vyetti. Devadatta becomes less and less because all his money has been taken away from him. Natu evam Brahma Vyeti. This is not this is not, Brahman is not Devadatta. Brahman is never impoverished. Brahman can never be without Satchit Ananda. So what? Concluding this, he is going to say, Ataha, therefore, Avyayasya Asya Brahmanaha, this indestructible Brahman, Vinasham na kaschit kartum arhati. No one, na kaschit, no one, Atmanam vinashayitum shaknoti. No one can destroy the Atma. And then he adds a small little thing. Ishvaraha api, not even Ishvara. Why? Atma is non-separate from Ishvara. What is the truth of Ishvara? Satchidanandam, Brahma. What is the truth of I? Satchidananda Atma. Same thing. That Brahmatma alone is Ishvara, with name and form, with a particular all power, etc., Maya Shakti. And so, Ishvara also cannot destroy Atma, not because Ishvara is on a rampage to destroy things and people. No, but it's impossible to destroy oneself. One cannot destroy because that Atma itself is Ishvara. Then, the next one, introducing that, he says, Tat, where am I? Yeah. Kim punaha tat asad yat Svatma sattam vyabhicharati iti uchyate. Okay, so this is the typical Bhagavad Gita Upanishad style. First something is taught and then the opposite of it is taught, to make sure we distinguish and we have very, very clear thinking. So what was taught now here? Avyaya, Avinashi. Then what will be taught? Vinashi. So what is it that is Sat? Avinashi. What is it that is Asat? Vinashi. That which is subject to destruction. And so, what is that? This is the verse. Antavantaha ime dehaha. These bodies are antavanta. Antavan, antavantau, antavantaha. Ime dehaha, plural. These bodies. Which bodies? Which bodies? Standing in the battlefield. Okay, yeah. Because let's not forget, this is happening in the middle of the battlefield. So otherwise they need not have been plural. These bodies means Pramukhe, right in front, standing in front of Arjuna and Krishna. Those bodies, these bodies are antavantaha. Means what? Subject to end. Why? Because they are subject to beginning. Anything that has a beginning will have what? An end. The end. There is nothing more to discuss here. That which has a beginning will have an end. But even though the body is destroyed, is the Atma destroyed? No. Atma cannot be destroyed. Why? Because Atma we have seen. No Svagata Bheda, no Svagata Nasha, no Vijatiya Bheda, no Vijatiya Nasha. No sajatiya bheda, no sajatiya nasha. Since there is no bheda, there is no divisions, therefore none of the three sources of division can touch the Atma. So the bodies alone are going to perish, these bodies antavantaha. But don't forget, and this is very beautifully done, ime dehaha antavantaha. They belong to who? Nityasya. They belong to the one, they as though belong to the one that is permanent, eternal. Nityasya. Sharirinaha, all of them are in apposition. Nityasya dehaha, sharirinaha dehaha, and then avinashinaha dehaha, aprameyasya dehaha. So these bodies are what? These bodies belong to, we have to put within quotes, okay? Don't take it literally. Then we'll have duality, the one that is owning and then the object of ownership. No. Belonging means, as though, belonging. So, belonging, because it's in sixth case. That's why we say possessive, belonging, so to speak. Upachariki Shashti. It is the sixth case used just for the sake of communicating something, must not be taken literally. So, antavantaha ime dehaha. First thing is very clear. These bodies which we are seeing standing in front of you, Arjuna, these are all subject to destruction. But they are not standing there by themselves. What are these bodies? These bodies belong to the Sharirin. Sharirin. Who is the Sharirin? The indweller of this body. So there is a big change, a difference made, a distinction made between the body and the indweller. Indweller is subject to destruction or not? No, thank God we have unanimity here. So we can go, that means we can move on. The indweller is not subject to destruction. What is subject to destruction? The home, so to speak, the body which is the home of where the Atma as though dwells, like even the space dwells in this pot. Space dwells in this pot. Space is not subject to the indwelling space, not subject to destruction. The body in which the space as though dwells is subject to destruction. But and even see, we have to use as though everywhere. As though, as though, as though, as though, as though. I think we need a couple of air quotes with nylon strings here. Always I should just point as though. Everything is as though. So this Brahman, this Atma, that is as though living in this body, is what? Avinashi or Vinashi? Avinashi, not subject to destruction. But the body, not so much. The same, the body is subject to destruction. Antavantaha ime dehaha. But this body is as though in association with Nityaha. Sharirin. This Sharirin is Nitya. That who is the indweller of this body is Nitya. And it is Anashinaha. Anashin, Avinashinaha. And then Aprameyaha. So Aprameyaha means not available for the five pramanas that I operate. Aprameya. Not available for the pramanas, the means of knowledge operated by me. Not available for that. So, antavantaha ime dehaha nityasya sharirinaha anashinaha aprameyasya. All those four are in apposition. They all refer to one thing and one thing alone. What do they refer to? Atma. Atma, not Sharira. Atma. So, Sharira subject to destruction. The word Sharira itself is etymology. If you see, Shiryamana Swabhavat Sharira. Shiryamana means that which is subject to disintegration. Oh, I don't like, it's a very bad word. Can we have another word? Okay, Dehaha. Oh, that's nice. What does that mean? Dahana yogyatvat. That which is fit to be consigned to the flames at the end of life. You choose which one you want. It depends on the mode of disposal. If the body is being buried, we say Sharira, disintegrates. If the body is being cremated, what do we say? Deha. This is what it is. So the Sanskrit is a very objective language. What it tells you things exactly how they are. Every word has the meaning of it inside itself. Amazing. So, continuing, he is going to now take each one of these words and explain a little more. Antavantaha, antaha vidyate yesham te. Antavantaha, those which are subject to destruction. Yatha mrigatrishnadikau sadbuddhihi anuvritta pramana nirupanante vichhidyate. What an example. This is why we love the Bhashya. He could have given so many examples. He says, antavantaha vinashaha vidyate, meaning those that are subject to an end is called antavantaha. And then he gives an example. Yatha, just as mrigatrishnadikau sadbuddhi. So like when the mirage water, which you thought was true, you had what in the mirage water? You had sadbuddhi in the mirage water. But then after the operation of pramana properly, like eyes, etc., you came to the conclusion what? There is no water. And that, so in the conclusion that there is no oasis, what happens to the oasis? Bye-bye. Just like that, these bodies are also gone. What an example. Who would have thought to connect mirage water to the body? Because mirage water for us is what? Imaginary. It is a figment of my imagination because I'm stressed, I'm walking in the desert and I'm tired, I'm thirsty, I'm dehydrated, and the mind and the sunlight and the mind are playing tricks on me. And therefore I think what? Water, oasis, yippee. Let me swim. Let me just plunge into it and sit in it. That's what I'm thinking. That thinking for me in that moment is what? True or false? True, because I'm seeing the water and I'm coming to this conclusion. But that conclusion, in the wake of the knowledge of the operation of a few other pramanas, or looking at it in a different angle, what happens to that mirage water? Falsified. Similarly, in the beginning, without instruction of Vedanta, what do I say? Ooh, this body is real. Ooh, don't hit me, don't come near me. I'm injured. And something happened, body is injured, I am injured. Dehe nashte, aham nashtaha. If the body is well nourished, what am I? Well nourished. Dehe pushte, aham pushtaha. And then, if the body is kept nicely, I am well. And similarly, so many other body identification. I am tall. Are you tall? Is Atma tall? No. Body is tall. I am fat. I am tall. So one good thing about Vedanta knowledge is that one can stop feeling fat because you are Atma. Yeah. So you don't have to feel, oh, I'm fat. I'm thin, all these body dharmas are gone. I need to put on weight, I'm so thin. Why, oh God, I'm so thin? You don't have to worry about that. Neither do you say, oh, I have to shed weight, because Atma does not, that which does not shed weight, that which cannot put on weight is what? Atma. So, therefore, just like the mirage water being true, that wrong thinking is destroyed in the wake of proper pramana operation. Similarly, due to the Shastra pramana operation, the satyatvam of the body is destroyed and the mithyatvam of the body is immediately reinstated in my understanding. What a wonderful example. Very, very inspiring. So, anuvritta pramana nirupante. Nirupante means after operation of the proper pramana, vichhidyate, it goes away. The mirage water proof disappears. Satasya antaha, it is the end of that. In the same manner, this body, ime dehaha, swapna maya dehadivat cha antavantaha. So lovely. So beautiful. So, these bodies are also what? A dream-like, they have a dream-like existence. Like when you wake up, what happens to the dream? Immediately falsified. This body also must be taken to be that kind of a satta. What kind of a satta? Vyavaharika satta and mithya, because it is mithya. It's an object that I can objectify. The body is an object, so the body cannot be me. So when you wake up from the dream, you say, ha, that was an interesting dream. So similarly, when you come out of this body is equal to me, delusion, then you can also say, that was an interesting dream. So this dream-like body, which is the product of Maya, Swapna Maya. Swapna means like as though like a dream. Maya, avidya. The avidya is what causes this association between the Atma and the body to be taken as real. So that which is established through avidya also has to be antavan. So this body is also antavan. And then nityasya sharirinaha shariravataha, for those who the indweller of this body is what? Anashi aprameyaha atmanaha antavataha iti ukta vivekibhihi. Means this is therefore by the vivekibhihi, by the discerning ones, by the wise people. What do the wise people say? This is indestructible. This is anashi. This is avinashi. This is aprameya. This is not to be, not an object. That's why it is avinashi, because it is aprameya. And so this is sharirin, that which obtains as it were in the body, but it is at the same time all pervasive. Therefore, by the wise people, it is said to be not comprehensible by a pramana and subject. The body is subject to an end, but not the Atma. Further, nityasya anashinaha iti na punaruktam. This is very important. So, nityasya, anashinaha, both are in the sixth case. Both mean the same thing. Nityasya means what? Always there. Anashinaha means what? Not subject to destruction. So, we can say the Bhagavad Gita has punarukti dosha. Punarukti dosha means what? The fallacy of redundancy. This is a very bad thing to have. You should not have fallacy of redundancy. Wherever it is there, it must be removed. A good writer will not express herself or himself repeatedly in the same way. So then he says it is not redundant. Why? Because nityatvasya dvividhatvat loke nashasya cha. So, loke, in the world there are two kinds of nitya and two kinds of nasha. One is what? Paramarthika, one is vyavaharika. Paramarthika means what? He will himself tell. So, like something, for example, somebody dies and they go to the funeral, and then two friends go to the funeral of somebody who has died, and they talk to each other and say, so and so has gone, destroyed, gone. Okay, so that is one idea of anitya and nitya. And then the other example is that somebody, let us say, is bedridden for a long time with a unknown but seemingly incurable ailment. Unknown ailment, incurable ailment. So what do people say about that person? Already gone, as good as gone. But is the person gone? No. So in the world there are two definitions of nitya. One is pravaha nityatvam. Pravaha nityatvam means a perennial nityatvam. Means as long as I am there, as long as this civilization is there, as long as the jagat is there, this will be there. Like what? The earth. The earth has pravaha nityatvam. There will be a time when maybe it will collide with some other, with the sun or with some other planet or whatever. But it has right now, what does it enjoy? Pravaha nityatvam. Sun also we say nitya. Sun also enjoys what? Pravaha nityatvam, a perennial eternity. The Vedas are also seen as nitya, sanatana. That means what? It is of a perennial nature, meaning it is there for a long time. So in the world, that kind of nitya is there. And that kind of nasha is also there. When somebody is not gone, we say they are gone. So that's why Adi Shankara says these two words have been used, anashinaha, and then one more word. What was the other word? Nitya. Both are used together. They are not redundant. यथा देहः भस्मीभूतः अदर्शनं गतः नष्टः इति उच्यते विद्यमानोऽपि. So when the physical body is consigned to the flames, it is said to have been lost. Then similarly, vidyamanepi anyatha परिणतः व्याधि आदि युक्तः जातः नष्टः इति उच्यते. So even while living, when somebody is having a chronic illness, what do they say? Gone, as good as gone. Somebody has some terrible illness, what do we say? This person is gone, alas. But is that person gone? Not gone, but we say gone. And then tatra अनाशिनः नित्यस्य इति द्विविधेन अपि नाशेन असंबन्धः इत्यर्थः. And this is said why? Because the self, which is not subject to destruction and is also permanent, is not connected with these two kinds of destruction. The destruction in the world. The worldly thing is not, the worldly understanding of permanence and impermanence is different from this understanding which is applicable to the self. That's why these two words are used, because the self is not subject to the worldly understandings of destruction and what was the other one? Permanence. Then he says, otherwise, अन्यथा पृथिव्यादिवत् अपि नित्यत्वं स्यात् आत्मनः तद् मा भूत् इति नित्यस्य अनाशिनः इति आह. Otherwise you may think that the self is eternal, meaning it's hanging around for a long time, like even the sun, the planets and the earth. The river will keep flowing, the oceans will keep churning, and then the earth will be here, the sun will be here. All of them are nitya. So like them, Atma is nitya. Iti, confusion, ma bhoot. May there not be this kind of a confusion. That's why both the words are used. Not only is it indestructible, but it is here always. If only one was used, here always, like sun, earth, etc. And if it's indestructible, only one was used, then the two kinds of nasha, we would think that it is gone, it is as good as gone, we might think. So therefore, both the words are used together in tandem. Then this is also very beautiful. So the next one, he takes the word aprameya, a master handling. I really think it's just so beautifully put. So he says aprameyasya. He takes the word aprameyasya. If you are ever confused, go back to the verse. Locate the word aprameyasya and then you will see where it is. So what does aprameya qualify? Here aprameyasya sharirinaha nityasya. So aprameya qualifies Brahman here. So aprameyasya pratyakshadi pramanaihi aparichedasya. Aprameya means what? That which cannot be objectified by the five means of knowledge that we have at our behest. This is what is aprameya. How fantastic it is. Prameya, that which can be objectified. Pramana yogya prameya. Technically that's the definition. Pramana yogya prameya. That which is befitting to operate a pramana. Aprameya na pramana yogya, not in coming under the purview of the pramanas. That which is out of reach of the pramanas. And he will go and say very beautifully what all that is. But for now, this much we'll see. And then So then aprameyasya, so pratyakshadi pramanaihi, that which is not that which cannot be included or covered by or limited by aparichheda, not conditioned by. Parichheda limited, aparichheda unlimited, not conditioned by. Unconditioned by the pramanas means not subject to the pramanas. And now our friend comes. What is our friend? Who is our friend? Purva Pakshi. Mr. Nanu. This is how he or she introduces. This is how they introduce themselves. Nanu, but they are always saying but. Why? Because no Shraddha. If Shraddha is there, you will not keep butting in between the Shastra. Yeah. Shraddha is there, you will sit and listen and try to understand. There are times to ask, and how to ask is also there. But here, no Shraddha. No. What is this person going to say? This person is going to say that what is that? The Atma is not available for any pramana. That one is going to say that. And let us see Adi Shankara's answer tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi